Hey there, Patriots. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. I started thinking and looking up on Rumble, being that they're based out of Canada, just to find out some information on the wildfires that are going on there. And I came across this one content creator. His channel is pressfortruth.ca. I believe he used to be on YouTube, and he had a big following, and then he was banned from YouTube. But he has a video here that he put up not too long ago. It's about 12 minutes long, and after watching the video, a couple of things like hit me, because I was always wondering just certain questions. So if you stick with me on this video, there are a couple of things at the end that I want to share with you, and it's just eerily coincidental what I found out. So bear with me. Watch this video to the end, and no, this is not something for you to just watch the video just because. I'm trying to set this up so people could kind of understand when I say, we need to think outside the box. Like I said, it's very eerily coincidental, but just want to thank the new subscribers, and don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe, and pass it along. But pay attention to what this guy has to say. And like I said, just bear with me to the end, and if anybody finds it strange, let me know in the comments, and we'll see, because this is just too strange. But here we go.
Apparently jumped Lake Okanagan, and as you can see, some of the footage that's coming out is just mind-boggling. Like this one starts off with little kid swinging on a swing there, and it eventually shows just a massive amount of devastation. I mean, just look at these scenes in British Columbia, in West Kelowna right now. Again, absolutely terrifying. These are people who are trying to flee the over 50 kilometers an hour winds that are spreading this. And of course, questions are still surrounding about what caused something like this to occur. Again, absolute.
Doesn't that look eerily similar? Everybody on the side of the road looking down to where the fires are at, kind of like Maui. Everybody on the side. I mean, kind of strange, huh? But let's continue.
Horror and devastation that we're seeing on the west coast there. Terrifying. Canada wildfire that jumped the lake grows 100-fold in 24 hours as 43-mile-per-hour winds fan the flames, with significant number of homes destroyed and thousands who are forced to evacuate. And of course, it's not only Kelowna. British Columbia is now in a state of emergency, and 19,000 have fled Yellowknife fire. This is
Now, I don't know if you guys just caught it a few seconds ago when he said that onlooker said that the fire jumped the lake. If you look at one of my last videos that I did, where the two guys in the car said that they seen that the fire jumped over the road and started on the other side. And if you go back on, I think it was like my second or third last video, you'll see what I'm talking about, how that could have, in my eyes, that was impossible, because there was no fire on one side, plus there was a concrete barricade. And I, for the life of me, do not understand how a fire jumped if there was nothing there burning onto the other side of the road. But just wanted to bring that up real quick. But let's continue with this, because there's a lot here that needs dissecting, but here we go.
Up in the Northwest Territories, Canada's fourth largest emergency evacuation is underway right now. Residents in Yellowknife, the capital of Canada's Northwest Territories, home to about 20,000 people, were forced to flee their homes as the wildfire is within 10 miles of the city's northern edge. And it's not just Canada right now, folks. Now
that was on August 18th. This is on August 18th in Washington. Check this out.
As I am making this video, thousands of people are being ordered to evacuate as wildfires roar through Washington state right now, as this just continues to spread all across the West Coast right now. And of course, if you saw my video from a few days ago, the truth about the Maui land grabs and what may have caused those fires, you would know there's all sorts of things that do not add up when it comes to what's happening over there. Like, why was the water turned off and people not allowed or able to access that? Why were evacuation routes blocked and police were actually stopping people from being able to leave? Why were the police also stopping local Maui residents from trying to, get support and aid to their fellow people who were, dying? Why were the tsunami alarm systems not used? You know, the guy at the head of that has recently resigned, saying, well, if I sounded the alarms, people would have run to the high hills. They're trained to get away from a tsunami, and that would have led them to the fires. Well, at least it would have had some kind of warning. There's so many things to point to why this could be a potential LIHOP or MIHOP type situation, made it happen on purpose or let it happen on purpose for the purposes of a land grab.
Now, does that sound familiar? I mean, I've been saying it. A lot of people have been saying it. And it's just kind of strange how these fires are starting almost around the same time. If you look at the areas where they're starting, a lot of people are being evacuated. If you look at Maui and you look at the video he just showed, British Columbia, where is it? On the water. Okay? Right off the water, I should say. And almost eerily similar to the way it's all burning. But like I said, stick with me so I can show you how I think there's a big time correlation here. That's kind of, like I said, it's eerily coincidental. But let's go.
But as you may recall, if you did see that video, I also discussed the idea of DOES being used, direct energy weapons, and how that is a psyop that is purposely being put out there on purpose to distract people from the truth of what is going on. Now, as I pointed out in that video, DOES are real. I mean, I showed a clip from a spokesperson from the Pentagon talking about how the Department of Defense spends upwards of $1 billion a year on this technology. But as I also explained in that video, DOES are invisible. Think about them more like sound waves. So when we sit here talking about how some of these things can be happening on purpose, people can just point to the DOES psyop as saying, oh, you're just one of those people who probably believe in space lasers that caused this to happen, and they will brush it off as a nonsense conspiracy theory. Again, this is all done by design, as I explained in this video. Again, if you missed it, guys, be sure to check that one out. Well, now, when it comes to this massive evacuation happening in Yellowknife, with like almost 20,000 people being forced to flee, we're finding out that there are cases of arson that is allegedly the cause of this. There are 2 incidences, 4 people have been charged, 2 more are still currently being sought.
Did you hear that? And this is as of August 16th. So, cases of arson in Canada, they're trying to say that it's 4 youths, and they're still looking for 2 men. Now, is that a possibility? Some people starting fires, we've heard it before in the past. There are people that have done arson, for nefarious purposes and stuff like that. So just keep an open mind and stay with me, okay? Like I said, the video might be a little lengthy, but you'll see what I'm trying to get to. Listen, like I said, listen to what he has to say.
Guys, RCMP are investigating 2 arson calls in Yellowknife as wildfires looms on the city's west flank. There's also suspected human causes of the wildfires over in the South Okanagan. Even the BC Wildfire Service's own website here currently lists the out-of-control wildfire situation as the suspected cause as being human, either by accident or intentionally. So this is very important stuff to cover, guys. We're going to look at all of this in this video and much more. But really quickly, guys, just before we do, I'd ask that you check me out here at pressfortruth.ca/donate if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this information. Here you can do a one-time donation with PayPal. You can do Bitcoin.
Excuse his advertisement, which is fine. I mean, it's his channel, but we'll just keep going with it.
Or other cryptocurrencies. You can send me an e-transfer to dan@pressfortruth.ca. You can also send stuff to my P.O. box, guys. Links for all of this are located in the description below. Thank you so much to everyone who takes their time and effort today to support my efforts to bring you this information. All right, guys, I want to start with this video that I put out back in 2020 when there were massive wildfires raging in Oregon. And back then I was asking, is this arson? Or is this climate change? This is a deep dive under the West Coast wildfires with Press for Truth. And back then, when I was looking into the claims that this, is looking more so like arson than anything else that people are pointing to, we had Facebook and the FBI waging an information war on West Coast wildfire arson conspiracy theories, they call it.
Sound familiar? Again? The way Mark Zuckerberg teams up with the FBI, you can't, with the censorship, you can't say certain things. It's conspiracy theory or stuff like that. It's kind of strange. Doesn't Mark Zuckerberg own property in Maui? Okay, keep that in mind. I'm going to put the pieces together for you as we go. But right now, you got the name Mark Zuckerberg. Let's keep going.
You got to ask yourself, why was Meta and the FBI back then trying to say that people like myself who are claiming that this is arson are just conspiracy theorists? These are just nonsense conspiracy theories, and you should not look into this. Again, all part and parcel and designed to block us from the truth of what's been going on there. And the truth is, what we're seeing is a lot of these fires being done on purpose. As we see here, Yellowknife, RCMP says they've charged 4 female youths with arson for trying to light fire in a small green space down on Burwish Drive in Yellowknife on Tuesday night. This seems to be the source of the fires. And do you guys remember back when there were claims that, residential school children have been found, and this caused a whole bunch of people to go around and start burning down churches? I put this one out back then. Canada Day.
Okay, I'm going to cut it real quick for a second. 2 things quickly. One, I don't know if Mark Zuckerberg owns property on Maui, but I know he owns property in Hawaii. Second thing, they said the 4 youths were 4 females. Everybody knows a lot of these climate activists, a lot of them are females. Okay? A lot of males out there too. But if it's, in my opinion, if it's 4 boys, acting mischievously and they start a fire and it gets out of control, that tends to happen with a lot of times when young boys are hanging out. They'll do something stupid. It doesn't have to be a fire. It could just be anything stupid gets out of control. What are the odds that it's 4 female youths and 2 men? It makes you wonder, were they being, trained to do it? Were they a group? Were they, doing all this as climate change activists or whatever the case is? All right, so just keep that in mind. Okay, you got Mark Zuckerberg, you got the 4 female youths, okay? You got this fire in Canada, okay? Eerily similar to the fire in Maui, is off the water, people on the boats in Canada in the water watching, the land burn. Same thing was happening in Hawaii, okay? So stay with me, there's a lot more.
Is canceled. These are the people who want to burn down churches. 6 Catholic churches have been burned to the ground after unmarked graves were found with the remains of indigenous children at some of these residential schools. By the way, guys, side note, I just tweeted this out today. Evacuation after 14 anomalies detected. Found no evidence of graves. As I said, imagine my surprise. But let's not forget, guys, this caused these people to go around and start setting fires to these churches. Now, you know, let's remember that. And then we think about these climate change activists who are really just eco-terrorists who began doing similar things. I pointed that in this video. These guys are going to bring you to your knees. It's a new religion that we're dealing with here. A new religion is emerging, and their main belief is that the individual should be subservient to the whole for the sake of saving the planet. Today's climate change activists are actually religious cult followers who have been completely brainwashed to believe in the so-called man-made climate change while demanding that the government do something about it. In this video, Dan Dixon Press for Truth exposes these eco-terrorists for what they are, while most importantly explaining what the real issue is and who the real enemy is. So, again, we're constantly having people point to the idea that this is climate change. Meanwhile, you have these climate extremists running around looking like they're the ones starting these fires, as I've exposed before. Guys,
okay, now with that being said, another quick thing. Has anybody noticed that with the Maui fires, the Canada fires, and the fires in Washington, has anybody seen any climate change activists protesting? I haven't seen any. I don't believe anybody else can say they have, pertaining to those particular things. Like right now, oh, there are people out there protesting, we got to do something because the fires are going, this and that, and this is, you know, whatever. I mean, maybe there is a couple of small little incidents here and there, but not on a grand scale. So you got to keep that in mind also. Okay? So, like I said, right now we got Mark Zuckerberg, we got the 4 female youths, we got fires in Hawaii, Canada, Washington State. Okay? Nobody, no activists, no protesting. Okay? Stay with me. But let's continue.
if you haven't seen this one, climate lockdowns are here. But what caused the fire? As Press for Truth delves in the fire, well, with virtually every problem we've seen in Canada, the blame seems to rest on state control. And the current fires raging all across Canada are certainly no exception. You got to ask the question, why was funding cut to certain firefighting outlets in Canada, in Alberta, in Quebec, where they had submitted an application to receive more funding? That hasn't even been, accepted yet.
Sound familiar? The meeting that they had a few weeks prior in Maui, in Hawaii, where the mayor, the governor, Biden just admitted there was 600 agents on the ground before the fire started. Does anybody see how all this kind of is strange? But let's continue. There's more.
There are all sorts of reasons why this is, highly suspect, what we're seeing here now in Canada. But people keep saying it's man-made climate change that caused this. Well, no, we're literally getting reports now that they are arresting people on the ground in Yellowknife who are starting these fires. And a lot of the times it's these crazy climate activists who want to say, see, everything we've been trying to tell you is now coming to a very dangerous head, and we have to do something about it. You have to give up your rights. You have to accept a global carbon credit, a global carbon tax, and things of that nature. And it's absolutely insane. Guys, just wanted to bring this to your attention. When you see headlines claiming that this is all man-made climate change, let's not forget, Meta and the RCMP and the FBI, in fact, are on a campaign right now to convince you that it's just a conspiracy theory, to question that something like this has never been seen before.
Look at how eerie that is. This is in Kelowna, British Columbia. People underwater, just like in Maui, watching everything burn. Kind of strange, huh? Or prime real estate. Is anybody watching this? putting it
is,
together.
oh yeah, no, this was supposedly caused by natural causes and not
Meanwhile,
by
there's
anyone
people
with ill
on one side
intent.
of
As I want to
Canada
remind you, if you did
just
miss my
having,
video, the
some
truth
fun.
about the Maui.
Now, I'm going to stop it here because I'm going to. Okay, I'm going to let this play so you people can watch about Hawaiian Electric's stock
Land
plummeting.
grabs and what may have caused those fires. Don't forget to check that out. Very important information contained in that video, especially in regards to the PSYOP that wants to distract you from the truth of what's happening and try to just, dispel all this stuff as conspiracy theories.
Okay, now I'm going to do something a little different that I've done on a couple of videos. Okay, so I started thinking about all this and I was like, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right, because a lot of people said that BlackRock had sent some people in to try to buy property, and people are upset about that. Now, it doesn't take much digging, but Hawaiian Electric is under scrutiny. So basically, it's a blame game now. They're trying to blame Hawaiian Electric. Hawaiian Electric is like, no, we cut off the power. And this is going to go back and forth because nobody, in my opinion, is just all smoke and mirrors. Okay? I watched a YouTube creator about 2 months ago do some research on BlackRock, and supposedly what BlackRock does is that since they own a lot of real estate, they'll purposely make a company self-destruct, okay, just so they can be the second biggest entity to move in but not look like the bad guy. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to do something a little different. Remember what I told you. Okay, you have Mark Zuckerberg, climate change activist, the 4 girls that were arrested for starting the fires in Canada. Both fires are underwater. Okay, prime real estate. Okay, so I did a little digging myself, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure these things out, like I said. So I was like, okay, does BlackRock own property in Alberta? And yes, they do. BlackRock Custom Homes and Commercial, and they're right here, Grand Prairie, Alberta, and that's where a lot of the fires are at in Canada. Strange? Maybe. We'll see. So then I started thinking, okay, let's figure out about Hawaiian Electric. Started figuring that out, and it has been said before. So BlackRock owns stock in Hawaiian Electric. Okay, so I'm like, oh wow, that's kind of strange. Fire in Maui, they're blaming Hawaiian Electric. BlackRock owns stock in that, and BlackRock owns property in Alberta, Canada, where the fires are going. So I'm thinking, is it possible that I could hit a trifecta here? Okay, so we got the fires in Hawaii, the fires in Canada, and now we got fires in Washington State all around the same time. And I said, well, let me check out about the fires in Washington State. The fires in Washington State, where there's more evacuations, is in eastern Washington State. So I said, you know what? Let me check a little more. See if they own property in eastern Washington State. And I checked. And lo and behold, they don't. But guess who does? Bill Gates owns 14,500 acres of acre swath of choice eastern Washington farmland in the Horsehaven Hills of Washington State. So, what are the odds that Bill Gates owns property in Hawaii, in Washington, where there's fires? What are the odds that BlackRock owns property in Canada and Hawaii, and also owns stock in a company that is being blamed for the fires in Hawaii? Coincidence? Strange? Conspiracy? You know, what's the old saying that it's like that old Pinocchio saying, a lie is going to get as big till it's as obvious as the nose on your face, or something to that matter, to that effect, I should say. You know, the more you look at this, the more, and then here's another thing. And who's always talking about climate change? Bill Gates. Who's talking about, you know, eating bugs and getting rid of red meat? Bill Gates. Why are they pushing people off? Why are these fires happening where it's killing off property land by the water? Resource. Think about it. Some people will say, well, why will BlackRock want to blame it on Hawaiian Electric? Because think about it. If they want that 15-minute city, they'll close down their regular power grid. Okay? Because they can't technically just go and kick everybody out and buy the property so they can help build that 15-minute city. But do you actually think that a 15-minute city that's going to be one of the biggest technological spots on the planet be run by a regular power company? Hell no. They're going to have their power. They're going to have their power generators inside the city, and then push off their power to everybody else on the island. What do you usually find near the water a lot? You find nuclear power plants, stuff like that. Why? They need excess water to keep pumping in to not so much to fuel it, to cool it, to keep it cool down. Just, in other words, you got to be by water. Lots and lots of water. So now, once again, Bill Gates owns property in Washington where there's fires, in eastern Washington. He owns property in Maui. Fires in Maui, fires in Washington. BlackRock owns stock, almost 10% stock in Hawaiian Electric, and they own property in Alberta, Canada, where there's fires. And in turn, if they own stock in the electric company in Hawaii, one might think maybe they own property there too. There's been rumor, not by me, about a week ago, it's been going on that BlackRock supposedly has been trying to get in there to buy property also in the burn zone. So does anybody see all this kind of strange? And then arson is put into the mix. Something Canada hasn't really pushed out. Something that even the media here, they've been talking about it, but they haven't said nothing about that they arrested 4 people so far for starting fires in Canada. And all young girls. 4 female youth. Since when do 4 young girls get together to start fires? Arson. What are they, a cult? Climate change activists? And then supposedly 2 men got away? Were they their trainers, their coaches? Is this all a conspiracy? I don't know. I'll leave it up to you guys. But I'll leave it at that. I'm True Outlaw Patriot. Hope you like, comment, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, pass it around. If there's anything else you think I should know, or maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, leave a comment. Don't worry about it. Till then, with everything that's going on, pray for everybody that's victims of all these fires and everything that's going on. Okay? Pray for the children of Maui that are missing. And stay vigilant. Keep praying. And keep praying for each other. Peace.